Hello and welcome to Web Applications for Everybody. Right now we're working through some of the code for the PDO, Portable Data Objects. Now you have to run this on your own local host and you have to follow the notes to get things set up. We did that in a previous video. So what I'm going to play with now is a little more useful code, user1.php. Okay? And so if I take a look at user1.php, it we follow the pattern of requiring PDO.php, and of course PDO.php has my database connection information with ID and password. And I'm going to use sort of my model view controller pattern where I'm processing the data at the top and then I have my template at the bottom. So this is all the silent processing code. And then here is the logic. And so on a GET request, it just is going to fall straight through here because there's no post data. And it paints this post form, which is exactly this. And it gives me a name, a password, and an email. And so I can say Sally at uiuc.edu, and Sally's password is 999. And then I hit post, and then that's going to come back in the top of this script again, and this time these three variables are going to be set. Okay? So when I hit add new here, it's going to add another value. And so it runs through here, and here's the SQL, and this is PDO. PDO basically has placeholders for :name, and :password, and we'll talk about why this is later. I just print out the SQL, and that shows this insert. And then it runs that statement, taking the name, email, and password from the post data. Now I didn't have to name, email, and password the same, but sometimes you do that just to keep yourself sane. And so that did the insert. And so I did an insert as a result of a post. So if I go take a look at my new rows, you see that now I have a Sally row. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so that's user 1. Let's take a look at user 2. So user 2 basically is going to, in addition, this code here is the same. It's the code to do the insert. And this HTML is the same. But the only thing I've done different is I'm printing out a table and then printing out all the data. So if I go to user 2 instead of user 1, it looks exactly the same. This form is going to be at the bottom. And so, but we see the old ones. And so now I can say something like Fred. Fred at umich.edu. And a password of some random set of numbers. And this form here is the same. The difference is now when I do the post, it's going to come in here, it's going to do another insert, and then it's going to fall through, and then it's going to show me all the new ones. And so now we have this thing where, there you go, and Caitlin. So we'll put Caitlin in. So we now have this thing that's both showing us each time we, oh, I kind of messed that up. I'll have to fix that later. Her email's wrong. I didn't do any data validation. But you can see this one here where we're sort of, also we're querying, we're reading and constructing the table. So we've kind of communicated a few of these things. And so if we look, let's take a look at our database, browse, and there's Kate. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we might delete. Now the key thing to deleting is you're not supposed to delete on a GET request. And so I'm going to write this thing called userdel and pass in the user ID that I want to delete as a post parameter. So let's go into user2del. And so now I've just painted a form right here. User ID is a field, and I'm going to delete the Kate one that I just made a mistake typing in. So I'll put 5 in and send a post in. So now I'm going to, when I hit this delete button, it's going to run here again, and this time post will be set because it'll be set from that 5. And I'll delete from users where user ID equals :zip. That is a placeholder. I'll print out the SQL and I'll prepare it, and then I'll run it mapping zip to the data that came in from this field over here. So this code's going to run when I click this button. All right, so we'll go hide that. So it ran, and the user's gone. Oop, that didn't look very big. So when I go over here and I browse it, Kate's gone. and I can get rid of 4. I can say 4, delete. And I take a look, and it's gone. Now here's the thing, just to remind you about SQL, if I delete 42, there's no 42 here, that's not an error. Because I said delete from users where user ID equals 42. Well, there was no user ID 42, so it did exactly what I asked. That's not a syntax error. It's a syntax error if I don't spell the word delete right or the word from right, but having no records that get deleted is not itself an error. So that's how we do a delete. So the next thing I want to talk about is use the 3.php. And that is really just combining all these things together. So I have the add code here, right? And then I have the delete handling, the delete handling. And then I have the HTML. So let's just bring user 3 up. It's like doing all of it together. So it shows everything, but the interesting thing is this little tiny delete button here. So most of it we've seen before. We read and we put all the stuff out. And then in this last field right here, in this last field right there, it's probably easier if I just view source and show you what it looks like. In this last field, I put a form. Let's make this a little bigger. Make it bigger. The last, so TD is the last column, and then slash TD ends that. And in that table is a little miniature form. It's a method equals post, input type equals hidden. Hidden input fields don't show. User ID equals 3. And then I have a submit button that has a string del with a name equals delete. So this form has actually four forms on it. This page has 4 forms on it. There's a form, there's a form, there's a form, and this is a form as well. And I can tell which of these buttons was pushed. And that's why I named this one delete, so I know that that's a delete, and then I have add new. And I can also tell up in this code whether or not it was a delete that a post or it was an add post. So the add post code is right here, and it looks, if it is a delete, none of these things will be set. Email, password won't be set. If it's a delete, then name, password, email won't be set, but user ID will be set. And remember, I'm putting user ID in here as a hidden value, which is the primary key of the user ID. So how do I construct that text? Well, it's pretty simple. I have the table, TD, and then I print out the form. This is just text. Hidden user ID, name equals user ID, value equals, and then I concatenate the actual row to user ID. I don't need to use HTML entities here because I know it's a number because it's an internal thing that I invented. And then input type and the new line and form. I'm just kind of constructing a form from echo statements. That's exactly what I do. Okay, so if I click on del here, Glenn is gone, and it came back up to the top. So it ran here, it came down, it ran this bit to delete because that's the button I hit, and then it fell through and produced the table. So for us, it looked like this just vanished. So we'll make a new one, Rohita, umish.edu, password is some stuff, and we'll add, and poof, it shows up. So that time I pushed this, and this post code triggered instead. And so I can have different forms doing every different thing here, and it all just kind of works. And so that is user 1, user 2, and user 3 walking through. Hope this helps. Cheers.